Assistant Chief Morris, if you all could address the policy, is one that seems to be most prevalent in communities of color. And the experience of the police not only has a damaging psychological effect, it ruins relationships that our communities and a lot of our young people and older adults have with police, as well as if the arrest follows, there's collateral consequences that oftentimes have real, unintended oftentimes consequences, but collateral real consequences.
David Jones on stop-frisk.
Housing and such. So, Mr. Jones?
Yeah, I'll start. According to its own statistics, police officers in the city of New York in 2009 stopped 575,000 people in 2009. An estimated 90% of them were those people of color. Only 6% of those stopped were actually arrested. This is compounded with a policy called vertical policing that occurs in both public housing and some private multiple dwellings, which allows an individual without an ID to be arrested at sight. This is worse than South Africa under apartheid.
Yeah. Yeah. Finally.
We've got to recognize that what this does to damage the relationship between the police we desperately need and young people who are overwhelmingly unemployed and have no recreation at all is damaging to a generation. I remember, you in the audience, I remember being a 17-year-old and I had the St. John's Community Center. But I remember being stopped, but not at this rate. We were told to keep away, watch it, you better not get in trouble. Now we have literally laws where a young person is stopped multiple times just for walking around. And what I suggest, we have to have a political outcome here. No mayoral candidate that you support can be elected without making a commitment to do away with this kind of provisions.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I don't want people arrested who do bad things. Doesn't mean I don't want things happening. But you just can't stop people from walking around. And the cases are just horrific. And there has been no response. And the racist nature of it is so obvious that you can't go
away. And now, Councilman Jackson, for having me here tonight and allowing me an opportunity to kind of join into this conversation. And I think the best way to measure my presence here is that I'm here on the second floor of this hospital today. The majority of the time that I spend in this hospital is down in the emergency room, really, with people who have been hurt, regular civilians who have been victims of crime, cops who have been hurt, cops who have been shot, civilians who have been shot, just trying to put people back together from horrific incidents. So for me to come back here this evening to participate in this conversation is so energizing that I can't really put it into words in terms of it. So I just want to thank you for having me here tonight. Policing is a tough business. It's really hard. And my job as the borough commander is to try to always gauge from the community, what is it that you're looking for us to do? And then take that back and say, well, how do we do it? Because no police department can operate without the support and confidence of the community we serve. My job is all about service. You know, I've been doing this for almost 30 years now, and I don't want to turn this into a personal thing, but I'm here because I really enjoy it. I really like it. I could have left long ago, really, but I didn't. And the thing that I bring to Manhattan North, in my personal experience, is, you know, I was a commanding officer of 3 different precincts throughout the city, really. And one of the things that taught me, that experience, is that all policing is about local interactions and local relationships with the community that we serve. And that's what it's all about. It's about knowing the community. That's why there are 76 different precincts throughout the city of New York. That's why there are 12 different precincts in Patrol Borough Manhattan North. Because one can't do it. One overall precinct can't satisfy every need that every community has in terms of that. So the other thing that I bring with me is in the late 80s, early 90s, I was an undercover sergeant in narcotics up here in Manhattan North. So when people tell me about the bad old days, I'll tell you more stories about the bad old days, really. And to see the resurgence that's here now and all the successes that have come back as a result of elected officials, community partnerships, everybody working together, it's wonderful. It's really wonderful. Really.
Okay, now.
And you know what? Let's have a little chat. We'll chat about stopping people and everything. We deal with crimes that are occurring. I task my precinct commanders every single week. Okay, what crimes are going up in your precinct? How are we doing? What are we going to do about it? So they'll take a look at the crimes and they'll say to me, okay, this crime is going up, that crime is going down. So I say to them, okay, what are we going to do about it? And they'll say, well, we have to engage people. We have to talk to people. We have to figure out what's going on. The overwhelming majority of those contacts between police officers and the public are positive. They are positive. The overwhelming majority of the contacts that the police have with criminals, that is people who are actually arrested, are positive. In terms of that interaction, they don't make allegations against the police that they beat them up or used force or anything else like that. They say, listen, I did something, I was apprehended, really, and now I have to answer to a judge about it in terms of that. That's the overall. There are some interactions that do not go like that. There are some interactions that do not go well. Hey, we are not a perfect agency. We are not perfect. I'm the first one to tell you that. But we try our best. One of my rules of policing that I have is, do your best. I always ask my people when something goes on, did you do your best? Many times they'll say, well, not really, Chief. I said, then you've got a problem with me. If somebody says to me, boss, I did my best, and this is what happened, I say, you're okay with me then. We make mistakes. We'll own up to them, and we'll move forward in terms of that. This concept of service is what I'm going to bring to Manhattan North as we move forward, working with the community.
Man, don't you clap one bit, man. Yeah, totally disrespectful, man.
Just to kind of follow up, we also received some questions from individuals concerned about the increase in gangs in the community. The questions that we received, though, were more of the realm of what is it that we can do without actually having to affirmatively get our young people in trouble to somehow stigmatize our young people's contact with gangs or recruitment by gangs, or what is it that we should be doing to keep ourselves and our neighbors feeling somewhat more safe on the street.